Hello everyone, this is Leena Khandekar, founder and director of International Lease Beauty and Spa Institute. As you all know, I am working in beauty and wellness field past 20 years, having experience nationally and internationally. I have come up with a series of expert novels in which series I have been taking interviews with beauty and other industry experts to understand the latest trends, opportunities, futuristic possibilities in various fields to gain a holistic understanding, insight on the same to help one and all grow and work towards personal and overall betterment. So today we have with us a very beautiful and inspirational personality, Ms. Pamela Adkins, who is the Executive Educational Director of Takara International Aesthetic College, Tokyo and Osaka, Japan. Thank you so much, Pam, for taking out time to talk to me and talk about your experience and your journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. So now I would like to introduce Pamela Adkins to you all. Her work experience first I would like to brief about. She has started 2002 to till date as an executive director, educational director at Takara International Aesthetic College, Tokyo, Osaka, that is Japan, teaching all aspects of beauty therapy, spa, and managing college. So from 2000 to 2002, head of international education, that is again Takara International Aesthetic College, Tokyo, and teaching all aspects of beauty therapy and managing college. So from 1996 to 2000, she was a principal of Shaw College International, Tokyo. 1991-96, head of aesthetics, again Shaw College International, that is Tokyo. 1986 to 1991, Courtier Transocean beauty therapist, beauty salon, spa manager on board luxury cruise ships. And 1983 to 1986, so that is Tao Skincare, Cambridge, England. She was there as a beauty therapist carrying out all the beauty therapy treatments, specializing in electrolysis. So her training experience is also a vast experience. 1980 to 83, Norfolk College of Arts and Technology, Norfolk, England, and her qualifications are tremendous qualifications she has. That is 1983 International Health and Beauty Council Diploma, Beauty Therapy and Epilation Diploma, CT and Gales Wig Making Diploma she has done, CT and Gales Ladies Hairdressing Diploma also she has completed, Eve Taylor Aromatherapy Diploma, Certificate of Manual Lymphatic Drainage, then CEDESCO International Diploma, CEDESCO International Aromatherapy Diploma, Body Lymph Drainage, the Upledger Institute. She has done this from Upledger Institute. Last Stone Therapy Diploma also she has done. Indian Head Massage Diploma from London College and Indian Facelift Massage Diploma. CEDESCO International Spa Therapy Diploma. Then Jet Stone Massage Certificate. Facelift Massage Certificate. And she has been a senior instructor as an esthetician in Japan. And SIPTAC Body Massage Diploma, SIPTAC Anatomy and Physiology Diploma. So her professional work experience, also she has worked with professional organizations. 1992 to till date, she is a member of CEDESCO Nippon. CEDESCO Nippon Education Committee, she is a chairman there. Elected CEDESCO International Education Development Director, re-elected again. And again on the same post, that is CEDESCO International Education Development Director. And her work experience is initially worked for 3 years as a beauty therapist in England, then further 5 years on board cruise ships. Since arriving in Japan in 1991, working as a teacher in beauty therapy to improve the standard of aestheticians, initially providing a 6-month cruise in aesthetics, expanded this to 1,200 hours with the goal of becoming a CEDESCO International School. That's so awesome. Eventually became one of the first 5 CEDESCO International accredited schools in Japan in 2000. So heartiest congratulations for that, Pam. Still actively teaching Our college provides Cedesco beauty therapy, aromatherapy, and spa therapy courses. Going further, work to ensure the schools in Japan introduce machines and treatments not previously common in Japan, therefore they would be in line with Cedesco requirements. So that is, everything is so wonderful, and she is also taking lectures to school teachers on Cedesco examinations, annual lectures, demonstrations at large beauty exhibitions to promote Cedesco, regional lectures for Cedesco schools in Japan, exam procedures and marking criteria also she is taken care of. And from 2000, the annual meetings for Cedesco schools in Japan to report on Cedesco International Schools meeting at the Congress. She has been Cedesco examiner for many years and also have organized Cedesco International Congress and exhibition in Tokyo, that is Japan. She has been awarded Cedesco International Medal de Merit, member of Cedesco Education Committee, main trainer, silver medalist in 2015, that is World Skills Beauty Therapy. Pam, this is really, really commendable. Hats off to you for all your achievements and incredibly ruled out journey so far. It is definitely not easy, I'm sure, work towards and have these many qualifications. Thank you once again for all your precious time and being with me today for this interview. I was just going through your profile and I just can't stop myself because I did not wanted to crisp the profile. I wanted to, all the viewers should understand the depth and the experience, how many things we generally try to achieve, but sometimes we face so many challenges, but you could achieve it. And I think it was amazing.
Well, I was qualified. I really didn't imagine that I would end up in Japan or doing all of that I have done, really. I just wanted to work on a cruise ship. That's as far as I was thinking at the time. But so it's somehow your career doesn't necessarily go in the direction you imagine, So I've been very lucky and very blessed, I believe.
Thank you. That's true. So now I would like to start with my first question, Pam. We are super excited to know about your inspirational journey.
Yeah, so I first go to college to study beauty therapy because I heard from a friend of mine that you could work as a beauty therapist on board a cruise ship, which of course sounded very exciting. Yeah. I lived in a small village in a very rural part of England. So I went to college, as you said, for 3 years. The first job I could get was working in a salon in Cambridge because I needed 3 years experience to work on the cruise ships. So in order to take that job, I had to buy a motor scooter. So I went on a scooter for 10 miles. Then I got a bicycle that I took on the train for an hour to Cambridge, and then cycled from the train station to the salon, which was another 2 miles. So that took me 2 hours to get to work. So 4 hours a day I was commuting because I couldn't afford to live in Cambridge because it's a very expensive city. But I did that for 3 years in the first salon. I loved working in the first aesthetic salon. That was very enjoyable. But my goal was to work on the cruise ships. So I got my 3 years experience, and then I applied for the job on the cruise ships. And I ended up working on 8 different cruise ships in 5 years. And it was a fantastic thing to do when you're young, seeing the world, meeting so many people from so many different countries. And that, I think, has allowed me, for my position now within Cedesco and in my job as an examiner, going to different countries, seeing different cultures, but having that information when I was young and learning how to adapt to different cultures and different English coming in and different ways. It was a fantastic experience. It really, really was. And of course, it's a great job to learn your skills as a beauty therapist because we were so busy. We did 12 40-minute massages a day, or I did 10 facials a day, or 16 manicures a day.
Wow.
So we were busy. So once you've worked on the cruise ship, you can work anywhere, and some of the guests are quite demanding. So you have to learn to deal with anyone. You know, they're not feeling well or they're annoyed or whatever it is, and you just have to deal with them. But it's amazing. You know, again, some fantastic people I met. I went on 2 world cruises. The world cruise is 3 months, and you visit maybe 30 different countries. So that's just fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I did that for 5 years, which was wonderful. But after that, I did want to settle down a bit more, but I didn't really want to come back to the UK because that didn't seem exciting, you know, after being around the world. So one of my friends was working for an aesthetic college in London, an institute in London, and they were having a branch in Japan, and they needed another teacher. And she said, would I be interested? And I thought, oh, why not? You know, and this is the thing, after being on a cruise ship, you don't think anything of going wherever, you know. So I thought, why not? Why not try Japan? So I applied for the job. So I came to the company I now still work for. I came on a 2-year contract, and I thought, okay, I'll learn Japanese, and then I don't know what I was going to do. But I came to Japan, I started teaching, and I really, really love teaching. I really do. I really enjoy it. I find it so fulfilling that we have someone on the first day of the course that just doesn't know how to even touch the skin or anything. And then, you know, even in a few months already, they can give this lovely facial massage and then can talk so well to the client. And then within 1 year, you know, they've got a qualification and they've got skills for their whole life. You know, and so that's been fantastic. So I carried on teaching. We didn't have Cedesco at that time in Japan, but I knew Japanese people wanted an international qualification. Yeah. So I was just the teacher, but when I took over, when the principal left, I immediately expanded our course and applied to become a Cedesco school. And then we became the first Cedesco school in Japan in 2000. So, and yeah, it was great, really great. And then we got many more students because of that, because they wanted the international qualification. And now within Japan, now there's 23 Cedesco schools. Wow. And the graduates, they're all over the world. Some of them are going on the cruise ships, some of them live in all different countries. They're teaching at other schools. I love it. It's just fantastic. You know, I go to exhibitions and, oh, Pamela Sensei, you know, I always see my graduates all over the place, and it's so wonderful, you know, so they're like my children, really. So I've had a wonderful, wonderful life.
Super. Basically, this is such a wonderful journey of yours, Pam, and this is wonderful that with focus, hard work, and confidence, one can achieve anything, and you have proved this over. I think optimism is the faith that leads to achievement.
You know, I had to train. I lived in a little village, and I tell them the story of my first job. You know, I said, you know, we all have to start somewhere. Yes. You know, if you put in the work and the effort, and you've got passion for your job as well, then you can go anywhere, really. You know, that you really can. So,
yes, that's really true, and nothing can be done without hope and confidence. I think that's the thing, it is important thing. So, what are major challenges you faced while achieving your goals, Pam?
To be honest, I don't really feel I had too many challenges. I just, you know, I think I've been very lucky with my career. I've just, you know, I working on the cruise ships, I became this salon and spa manager. Then I came here and I took over. And it's just kind of, I've been very lucky. I think just keep working hard. And I've always continued learning because I think, you know, you can't just sit back and relax and think, you know, I know everything. You have to continue learning and keep passionate about what you do and interested in what you do and interested in the people around you, not just your students, your staff, everybody. And that, I think, you know, reflects from you. And then people want to be with you and want to, you know, help you and assist you and support you for the future. So I believe I've been very, so oh, that's not very interesting. I don't think I don't feel I've had a lot of challenges really.
So,
Of course, living in Japan when I first arrived, it's different.
yeah.
But I mean, it worked for me. I love living here. You know, it's clean, it's efficient, it's very safe. You know, so I really enjoy it. And people say there's a culture shock, but for me, there isn't really a culture shock living here. So you know, sometimes I'm the last person anyone wants to sit next to on the train, but that's okay.
That's amazing. Means sometimes, as you have rightly mentioned, that you have not had any challenges or not many challenges rather, but generally with the experience we gain lot of confidence. I think that was the case with you, Pam.
Yeah, exactly. When I first came to Japan, I hadn't taught before, so I had to go through teacher training, and that was tough to begin with because, you know, it's totally different, of course, being a teacher to being a therapist.
Yeah.
And you can only be taught to be a teacher, but you have to have your own way and your own personality in the way you teach. And so that was a little bit difficult to begin with because I just tried to copy what the people who were teaching me to teach did. But that wasn't really for me. They were very kind of not smart, very strict and everything. And I'm a little bit like that, but I want a bit more personality and fun, you know. So as I gained confidence in my teaching ability, I realized I could be a bit funny as well, you know, because sometimes having a joke or telling a silly story helps the students remember, you know, especially the anatomy and physiology is quite difficult to study. If you've got anything that you remember, then I would try and add a little joke and everything. So, you have to get your own personality. So I think that just took a little time of building up my confidence in teaching.
Okay. That's very well said, Pam. And sometimes some doors close and some other door opens. And if you have that positive attitude, I think everything is possible. And we see that we have not faced any challenges, but the goals are always there in front of each one of us. Thank you for answering this question.
I thought I would come back to England after 2 or 3 years, maybe. I never thought I would spend most of my life in Japan, you know, but it's been a wonderful experience. And because I've been in Japan, I believe I've had other opportunities possibly that I wouldn't have had I gone back to the UK. So, you know, your life just can go in all sorts of ways, directions.
Yes, and we have to choose that right direction.
Yes, exactly.
Even though we get many opportunities, we still have to have the control of choosing a direction.
Exactly. But I think you can't be too narrow-minded. You have to be open to you know, changing, because at one stage I really wanted to go and live in Australia. I thought this is going to be fantastic. And something held me back and I stayed in Japan and things, you know, really took off for me in Japan. So you never quite know which path you will end up on.
That's wonderful. So how do you manage your time, Pam?
Well, I'm very normal. We work Mondays to Fridays, and at the moment I'm back in the school teaching. So I'm teaching usually 4 days I go to the college, and 1 day a week I'm working from home. So in Japan now, most schools and businesses are open, and salaries are open. So I work a very normal life. I get 2 trains to work, and I'm one of the normal Tokyo people in the busy trains. Luckily, at the moment, they're not so busy because less people, you know, are working from home. So I'm not really, really squeezed in on the train. So I do that. I love walking. Yeah. It's wonderful.
That's amazing. So with time management and self-discipline, I think almost everything is possible. And exercise is one of the major daily routine which I think everyone should follow.
Exactly. And especially, you know, in our industry as a teacher, or if you're in a salon, we're giving a lot of ourselves. You know, you're giving a lot out. So you need to, you know, really center yourselves and relax by and de-stress by exercise. I think it's so important. And, you know, in Japan, they really want to be at one with nature. And so, you know, walking through on the earth and getting the trees around us, you know, I think it's wonderful to get, you know, what the natural air, and so good, of course, for our health and helping reduce diabetes and so forth, which is prevalent even in Japan. We're getting a lot more cases of diabetes. I know in India it's a big issue for you. So, I mean, look, the Japanese people, as you know, tend to be very healthy. They do a lot of exercise, but the youngsters are not doing as much. Yes. So I'm doing my bit.
Pushing them.
Like, come on, what's the answer? And they go, exercise. They know. I said, what is always the answer? They're like, exercise. They know what I'm going to say.
Lovely.
Purpose. Yeah. So, yeah.
Lovely, lovely. So beauty field is more of scientific field, but many a times people take this field casually. For example, they think that if someone is weak in studies, then they can choose this sort of short-term courses probably, or housewives who are generally free in the afternoon can go for these courses. So what would be your insight on this, Pam?
I mean, obviously, different people have different aspirations. I do agree wholeheartedly what you do. Your body massage, anything we do is, of course, increasing the blood circulation, increasing the lymphatic circulation. Therefore, we need to know, what does that do? Or what could go wrong with that treatment if the client is not healthy? So I really would hope that they do a more in-depth course. But I appreciate some people can't do a long course and they can start with a short course. But I would hope that step by step they might be able to build that up. But even if they do a smaller unit, that should at least have the underlying anatomy and physiology and the hygiene behind that, because these are also important, especially at this time. You know, we have to have those basic foundations of our courses on which to build further on. So I think there's a lot more to beauty and aesthetics than skin deep. I've many students over the years say, oh, I never knew we had to study so much. So even though we tell them before we start, there's a lot to study. But yeah, and it is unfortunate, the image of our industry is that we're not so intellectual. Yeah.
So according to you, this field has a lot of importance because there is a lot of scientific study when we come or when we talk about skin or hair treatments. So if you want to take this field as a career, we should take this field very seriously, because sometimes as a society it is extremely necessary to understand and not under the estimate the importance of any field network, as every job is important and adds value to the community in both different ways.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, if you've got a really good foundation of knowledge and you can do many different treatments, then you've got such a broader base and you can go in many different directions. You know, if you've only studied face, you're a little bit limited. If you've done face and body, and then you do aromatherapy, or maybe you then decide, yes, I want to do aromatherapy, or yes, I want to do spa. You know, so if you've got a really good foundation of knowledge, you know, that will give you a career, you know, as I've had for 30 years, you know. It's amazing. So if possible, if they can have the good foundation, because if you just only know a little bit and the clients keep asking you questions and you think, oh, I don't know, that's not good. You know, you want to have all of that knowledge to be confidently telling the client, oh, your skin is like this, and oh, you've got dry skin and you need to do this, and really have confidence in what advice you're giving to the clients, you know. And so I think, and that's actually, I have a lot of students that come to me in Japan. They've already worked in salons, because you don't need a qualification to work in a salon in Japan. So you can just go to a salon and someone shows you what to do. for a few months and then you work on clients. So there's no theory at all. So then they said to me, you know, I didn't know what to say to the client. When the client said, what should I do for my skin? They didn't really know. So then they saved their money and came on the course. So then they're saying, oh, now I really feel confident. You know, I've got the knowledge and the techniques. So yeah, I think that's also good in the long term to get a proper qualification. Yeah.
And this is very true. Means each field is important, but sometimes the aspect or the looking aspect towards beauty field, what we could experience during this many years, that people sometimes they take this field very lightly. So, but as you have rightly mentioned, that there is a lot of scientific studies, and even we talk about the face pack or any cream application, it has so many ingredients, and we have to have that knowledge when you are treating your clients. As you rightly mentioned, that analysis is very important aspect. Giving home care is another important aspect. And if we give right kind of a treatment to a right client, I think the results are amazing. Treatment results.
Yeah, it's totally different. That's what my graduates have said. You know, the clients are just amazed because they said, oh, wow, you know, this is the first time anyone has given me the proper regime and the home care advice and explained. Now I'm using an enzyme which does this and this and this. Oh, you know, so, and then, you know, you could see they're so happy that they could do that, you know. It's really great, you know. Yeah.
So, what is your assessment for the current situation for salons, Pam?
Yes, well, here in Japan, salons have reopened. They actually didn't have to close, but a lot of them chose to close initially. So the our organization, Sodexo Section Japan, as well as national organization, Edeste, came up with our own plans for hygiene and so forth. And then, as you know, Sodexo International also has its guidelines for health and safety in the salon and reopening the salon safely. So I think we really have to follow those stringent guidelines about protective wear. As you've probably seen in Japan, everybody wears masks, and we've been wearing masks for years when people themselves have a cold or flu, or if they have allergies. So people are used to wearing masks, so it was very normal, really. So we always wear a mask all day long when we're outside and when we're in the school, and so for salons, of course. And then, of course, sanitizing the hands. And then we always, when the client arrives, we take their temperature, and they have to sanitize their hands, and they have to fill in a health sheet as well. So, and of course, we have to limit the amount of people that we have into the school salon that we have. And you know, clean everything afterwards. We've had to put disposable sheets on top of couches. It's unfortunate we are using a lot of disposable items, which of course we don't really want to do for the environment, but at the moment it really is our only solution, I believe. So we are doing that, and just spacing everybody out. In a classroom situation, we space everybody out. We only have up to 10 people in a large room, and then we change the air every hour. Everybody has to go outside. We always have the windows open, and we have fans and everything on to change the air as well. So, so in that way, I think if everybody's careful about, you know, sanitizing the hands, washing the hands, wearing the masks as much as possible. The client wears a mask if then, as long as they're, of course, not for a facial, but for anything else, they're wearing a mask. All of these procedures we take, and you know, so far we've been doing quite well, and we haven't heard of any infections or coming from salons or aesthetic schools or spas. So we hope that in this way we can keep going. Aesthetic salons, they were very quiet for the first few months, but now people really are going back to aesthetic salons in Japan. We have hotel spas, but the hotels were mainly for foreign guests. So maybe 80 to 90% would have been overseas guests. So actually the hotels themselves completely closed, and some only just opened up back in August. But they're very, very quiet. So it's very low because, of course, it's only domestic guests. It's still quite low. And the spas only, again, just opened up a few weeks ago, Nanjing for them. And now just gradually starting to open. But the aesthetic salons themselves, yeah, I think people are, going back to the salons. Of course, there's been a huge in-home.
Yeah.
They've got more time to do a longer regime, actually. So they are buying more skincare products, but of course, less lipstick. So, yeah. That was actually on our news. We have NHK, which is the main TV station, and they were saying sales of lipstick has gone down 15%. So I thought that was quite funny. It was the kind of major news, And yeah, so it's true. But yeah, people are spending more on skincare products. So that, of course, has also helped the salons as well. At least if they can keep their retail going, that is helping. So we hope it is a challenge at the moment. But, all the aesthetic schools and institutes are open and salons are open as well. So I hope that the situation improves for you in India very soon.
We are keeping our fingers crossed that we should get permission to open our institutes again. Yes, we can understand the situation. We can call only few students at a time, but that is fine. At least they will start practicing because it's been just months now.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yes, it's a long time. Yeah. And we had, to begin with, we started with the body treatment, so we were further from the face.
Yeah.
And then when they did the face, we bought the mannequin heads, the plastic heads. So they started on those, which I thought, I don't want them all just working on the mannequin head. But actually, it wasn't bad because they could just learn their cleansing technique. And then, so after a few days, then we started working on one another. And by then, actually, they already had more or less the technique, So actually, this was a better idea than working on each other to begin with.
On social media, which you have posted.
Yes.
And even Sidesco had posted these pictures.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, sometimes, adversity can turn things and you find something new. Because, I was always totally against the plastic heads. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. But actually, it was very helpful. And the students can use those heads anytime. As you know, if we're having a facial every day, all the students are breaking out, their skin's getting irritated. So it's actually quite handy just to begin with to get the basic movements and what to do and the actual sequence before moving on to the actual person. So, yeah.
Getting new model every day is also a biggest challenge, even for the school and even for the student itself. So I think this is a fantastic idea to use this mannequin heads to practice. Yeah. So basically, this is kind of, I hope we all as the human race come out of this strongly and better for each other because of the worst situation, what we have been facing throughout this COVID-19 situation. Let's keep our fingers crossed and let's come out strongly together. So what alternate arrangement have you done to pay off during COVID-19? So do you have any such government policies which usually help people? Because of the financial crisis, many of the institutes, even the offices, not only beauty industry, but other industries as well, now they are unable to pay off even salaries and, their regular expenses. So do you have some facilities there?
Yes, in Japan, if a business can show that their takings for 1 month is then less than 50% of what it was last year or the year before, then they can get subsidies for 1 or 2 million yen. So you can get that. So their small businesses can get a certain amount, larger business have even more, and then individuals, freelance people also, if they can show how their wages really decreased from last year, then they can also get subsidies. So it has been helpful. I mean, of course, there's always some people that somehow slip and don't manage to meet the criteria. If you've just opened a business, you can't show what you did last year because there was no last year, so you can't get a subsidy. So new businesses have really suffered. So that has been difficult for some people. But yeah, I mean, in general, everyone's just trying to hang on. Obviously, there's been a lot of bankruptcies across Japan, of course, like any country there has. But yeah, we're really just trying to hang on and really hoping that, you know, come, I don't know, February, maybe we can be really coming through this again. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah.
And thank you so much for this insight and advice, Pam. May we all do this together and overcome these unexpected circumstances soon.
Yeah.
So, do you have any scholarship programs at your academy for candidates?
No, we don't, but we discussed as CEDESCO Section Japan that this is something we would like to do. It's always an issue of how exactly do we look for a candidate that's worthwhile. I mean, that's always really quite difficult to know how to find that candidate. So we've been going around that several times, but I think having a scholarship program is a wonderful idea because, yeah, obviously now we are having people that really just don't have the funds to come on our courses. And this is they just can't even take that first step.
Because in India also what we could find, you know, people are really wanting to opt for CEDESCO courses, even CIPTAC courses, the international courses basically. And due to lack of funds, due to financial problems, they are unable to go for it. And even our private courses, it's not only international courses, but our academy private courses, sometimes the fees are a little higher. Little on a higher side, so you know it becomes difficult for them to go, but they really have a spark. They are really talented, so we feel like, you know, we should help them.
Of course. So yes, we do have that challenge, and yeah, I have students. I'm seeing more and more students. They're having to work a lot of evenings and weekends, you know, which is really tough because, you know, they need to study more, but they have to work part-time to keep themselves, you know, living in Tokyo. So, yeah. So if we can help them, that would be great. Yes. Yeah.
So, basically now, my next question to you is, a lot of players are exiting the market. What is your advice for them? Because again, due to circumstances and due to this COVID-19 situation, many of the salon owners, they are shutting down.
Of course, it is difficult at the moment, and you know the problem is we don't know how long this will go on for. But I mean, I do believe that in our modern lives, you know, the power of the human touch is so important, and you know, people have been cut off. They've been at home, sometimes on their own. They're not having direct communication, you know, we're having all the meetings like this today. And I think that, you know, power of touch and our aesthetic treatments are actually not just for the skin. It's about, you know, touching someone and making that person feel they've got a human connection. So I really hope that they would try and stay within the industry and get through this storm and see the other side of it, and maybe think about going on the well-being side of client can talk about anything, they can complain about their husband or their children, and they know nobody's going to know about it. So I think if people can try and stay in the industry, I understand for now maybe financially they need to do something else just to pay the bills basically, but if they can try and keep in the industry and come back, I think it will come back in the future. In Japan, you may remember we had a terrible earthquake in 2011. So, you know, the electricity was gone, everything was gone. It was a terrible. And then again, the hotels were a mess and everything. nobody felt like going out. What did they do? The first thing that came back, the spas and the salons. People wanted to come out, wanted the human touch. So I'm hoping it'll be the same kind of thing after this. People will want to get out and look after themselves. And I think some people have started to realize, you know, health is important. And then making our immune system better is so important. And again, exercising or, you know, looking after their bodies and, you know, thinking about the skin and everything like this is so important for our immunity. And so I think that hopefully if we can move our industry in that direction for well-being, I think that will be very important and could be a good direction for the future.
Okay, so do you face competition in Japan in terms of running your academy or in terms of running salons? And how do you tackle it?
Okay. Yeah, so of course there's always competition in the schools. There are many small schools. There's not so many Sodexo international schools in Japan, but people do know the name Sodexo, so that does help us. But not everybody, of course. And again, it's more costly to take a Sodexo course because it's a longer course. So that we do have competition. But people do like to get an international qualification in Japan. So having that and saying it's international. Also, my college is a little bit unique because I'm teaching, so it's very unusual to have an English teacher. I teach in English with an interpreter. So I say one or two sentences and then it's all in Japanese. I write on the board in English, she writes in Japanese. So I have quite a lot of students that already can speak English, or they are learning English, and they want to work on the cruise ships or the 5-star hotel spas. So we tend to get students a little bit more mature sometimes, not just school leavers. They might be 25, 30, 35. I have students in the 50s as well, you know. So in that way, my school is a bit unique because I'm there and I'm speaking to them in English usually, and they can, you know, they have a little joke in English or try and speak a bit of English with me. We also have a lot of foreign clients as well for the students to work on, because obviously an Asian skin and a Western skin is totally different. And if they're working again on the cruise ship or in the hotel spa, of course they're going to have the foreign clients and they need to know how to deal with our skin, which is so different from theirs. That's okay, yeah. So I was saying we have a unique selling point by having myself there, and also having a very high standard of training, you know, to Sodexo qualifications. So my college has been established for a long time, so people come for the name of Takara and they can get Sodexo qualification there. And because, of course, I'm a Sodexo International Examiner, so they feel secure that then they can get a very high standard of education. And we only have a small class system, so only a small number of students in the practical side, so we can really work closely with them. So I still actively teach. So, you know, I am actually teaching the students, not every day, but quite a lot, yes. In the salons, again, in Japan, we do not need a qualification to work in a salon, but now some of the salons only employ girls that do have Sodexo International qualification. And the 5-star hotels, of course, they do want someone with a Sodexo International qualification as well, as do the cruise ships. So all of those things mean, like anywhere, clients then go for different types of treatments. In Japan, we've got a lot of clinics where they use lots of machines, like cavitation, radio frequency. Also, they may have hair removal with IPL and laser. There's certain types we can and can't use in Japan. So if the therapist has not got many qualifications, they might work in one of those salons just doing machine, which is not nice at all. You know, that's not good. So for the graduates with qualifications, then they can work in a proper spa, a lot of individual salons. Aromatherapy is very, very popular in Japan. And then, of course, there's salons that do shiatsu massage and acupuncture, which is a totally different field. That's a different type of training completely. So, of course, the salon, again, has to have a unique selling point. And these days, I think most guests in Japan are, again, thinking holistically. We're going more towards organic products, less perfume, natural-based, yeah, more essential oils, that kind of thing, which I think is pretty global, really. We are talking more about sustainability everywhere. So there is a sort of shift now. So we've got, you've got your salons with all the equipment and slimming and this kind of thing, and then we've got our spas and holistic side. So there's kind of a little bit of a divide there. But so there's a lot more of, again, people wanting to feel good. So this kind of well-being types of clinic, So I think, there's a lot of new salons opening on that premise as well, and a lot of hands-on techniques as well. So yeah, so it's good. So there's certainly it's huge industry in Japan, huge. Aesthetics and skincare. The average Japanese woman uses 12 products on her skin a day. 12.
I think this is something amazing. Yes, you do face competition, but if you have that uniqueness in your working, if you have certain kind of SOPs, I think it is very, very possible for each one of us. It is possible to move further, and we can always tackle that situation and competition.
Exactly. Yeah, it's no point just copying what everybody else is doing. You have to find your own way and something new, or something unique. Yeah.
That is our USP, and that is, I think, a key for you to be a successful a teacher, a trainer, or I would say to be a successful in your education system. Education.
So, keep learning. You just have to keep learning, because I try normally to every year, if I can, study something new, a new massage or something. I just want to be on the side of a student, because that's also important. Because if you're just teaching, you forget what it's like to be a student. So sometimes you should have to be the student, and then take other qualifications and get nervous, And I remember taking my Tedesco aromatherapy, and I remember the oral questions. I just completely panicked and couldn't think. But it was great, because then otherwise you're like, why can't she answer? That's such an easy question. But in the exam, you forget. So it's really good to be on the other side. So, yeah, educating yourself. Again, traveling. Normally, we would be traveling, wouldn't we? We'd be meeting at the Tedesco Congress, or I'd be going to somewhere and seeing an exhibition in England and taking a training course, seeing a new machine, seeing a new product, learning, because you have to keep passionate. If you just, anatomy is anatomy. You can't change anatomy, but you can get new information and add a little, new story or new twist on it, but the information, your theory is updating all the time for aesthetics. So that's important. And it keep, if you're not interested, how is the student going to be interested, So you have to, keep learning, really, and meet people. I love meeting new people and hearing what's going on in China and India. And, it's so good. I've got friends all over the world, and you just, get so much input from them, what they're doing,
That's absolutely right. And I have seen you, Pam, since many years. You have been like, you like, and you have that positive approach to talk to everyone. You don't see that how senior she is or how senior he is. You like to talk to each one of us, and giving that respect is also very important.
Oh God, thank you. Yes. I always think that, it doesn't matter if it's the cleaner in the company or the caretaker or the president, they're all human beings. I think that's very important, Yeah.
That's very important. That's true. So, what the future of beauty training academies? What do you think so?
So I think, of course, we have many different types of training academies. Some will teach small modules and units. Of course, depending on the country, they may have a 2 or 3 year qualification. You know, in South Africa, they maybe do 3-year trainings. And in Japan, I do 1 year, and some schools do 2 years. I think, you know, that basic level there will stay, but I do believe that in some countries, people really want to specialize, really advanced skincare treatments, more medical aesthetic treatments. So therefore, that's great if we can have more specialist training, high level training in a certain avenue. I think that's great to specialize in that way. It has been big in Japan for a long time, but now other countries are starting to become interested in aromatherapy. So it's having a second resurgence now, you know, and so just as our industries, that you've got mature industries and countries, and then evolving countries coming up, you know, with new institutes opening all the time. As you know, in India, I know you have many, many institutes popping up all over the place. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in India, and of course in many other countries too in the world. So there's a lot. Our industry is just going to grow and grow, I think, in many different ways. So you've got the spa, holistic type, but then you've got the high-tech specialist type with your, you know, microneedling, laser, microdermabrasion, peeling, and all of that on the other side. So I think, you know, but the level is going up and up and up. You know, the standards, hygiene, and the actual studying of level of content, scientific, you know, knowledge is going up. You know, the cosmetic ingredients have improved so much. You know, nanotechnology, it's amazing now what the products can do, really. So I think our business is just going to grow. So if we can get this COVID out of the way, and by next year we can really start to see that pay off, I hope.
That's absolutely true, and it is 100% true. I think we really have to fight a little battle in this appropriate way if we have a patient, and those who have a patient will really have a success next year, because this 6 months time will be little tough for each one of us, I think. And as you have rightly mentioned that the beauty industry will certainly have high hopes to grow in the market.
Yes, yeah.
So you have such a global experience, a vast experience. So according to you, what major differences you have seen in beauty field? And basically, mainly mentally or physically, generally when any esthetician wants to work, how generally what kind of a focus she has to have, and people generally vary where is the same or different according to the services for opting this field as a career. You have such a global experience, so what would you like to advise people, those who want to opt this field as a career, and what all differences you have seen globally?
Yeah, obviously globally, the way people interact can be quite different. In Western countries, when a client comes to the salon, we talk a lot to the client. You know, so as I was mentioning, talking to the client is really, really important in England, for example. In Japan, the client comes in, lies down, and goes to sleep, and you don't really talk to the client very much. You do, of course, consultation, but much less communication, you know. So they don't want someone to talk to them. So there's a difference there depending on the country. And it's totally different needs, of course, depending on the skin and the body. Obviously, certain countries want to remove all the hair. Some countries don't want to remove the hair. Some countries, wax. Waxing's very, very little waxing going on in Japan. They don't really like waxing that much. They do laser instead, So totally different types of treatments. But I think in teaching, I found when I first came to Japan, it was a little bit challenging because the students would just sit. And I didn't know if they were understanding, not understanding, bored or anything. And nobody asked any questions or anything. So I didn't know. I was like, oh, I don't know what's happening. But of course, then to get those students to be able to chat and talk to their client when they're doing the consultation, that sometimes that's quite difficult because they're just not used to chatting in the same way that we would do in Western countries. So we need more practice of that and get them more confidence in chatting to people and so forth. So, because I think that, again, that human connection and having an ease of dealing with people and chatting with anyone is really important for this industry, you know. So I do see in different countries, yeah, that it's very different really how people talk to one another, and totally different with what treatments are popular here and here, yeah, and what people are worried about, you know, with their skin and everything. It's just totally different. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, you can't. It's not one size fits all. That's for sure. That's for sure. So yeah.
For your realistic views sharing on this point. So how do you generally make your business plan and how do you judge your client?
Our clients, meaning the students, sorry? The students?
Yeah, students. When we talk about the institutional line or institutional,
yeah.
And how do you generally do your business plan? So everyone has certain plans for coming year. Any financial year, we have certain plans for the promotions, for upgradation. So how do you do so? And it is on the point of institutional level.
Yeah, yeah. So as a school, then, yeah, of course, we have to have a business plan ready in place. So, for example, now we've just had a new website made, and then we needed to get that out. So the social media, of course, is so important for us all. So a plan on how to use social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of these things. We have Line is something we use in Japan. A lot of people have. So we have a Line account for the school and all of those things. So we plan always, 1 year ahead for the school. Our school year starts in April. So we're now just starting recruitment for the next April. So from now we would start taking applications and doing open days. So once a month we have open days at the weekend because people might come from other parts of Japan to come and see the school. But at the moment, because people don't necessarily want to move, so of course we have a video so they can have a virtual tour of the school, and then of course we can have a Zoom interview and everything like this. So I believe everywhere we've introduced a virtual tour of the school and a virtual or Zoom interviews. So at least, we can see the student, because we always talk to the student, at least two of us, myself and one of the other teachers, just to see, what the student's like and what she hopes to achieve from coming to the college.
That's wonderful. And it is, again, I think a very good insight from your end, Pam. And generally, as a trainer, what all qualities one must have with all the qualifications they should acquire?
Yeah, so, well, you have to have knowledge yourself, because, again, if you don't have enough information, you won't be confident. You need to know much more than what you're teaching. So if you're teaching here, you need to have this much knowledge, because the students might ask you, other things, and you can't just only know exactly the same as the student, So, and then again, when you first start teaching, you only kind of just know everything, but you have to build up your knowledge and keep studying and have enough knowledge. As I said, you have to be interested in what you're doing. If you've lost the passion and you're not interested, the students can tell. Yeah. And fun. Have a bit of fun with the students.
So what is that advanced technology do you think should to come in beauty field which will help the beauty fraternity?
Ooh, what technology? Oh, that's a difficult one. Ooh, I don't know what would be one. I mean, there's so many new treatments now that I think are, very interesting. I mean, we don't, in Japan, it's quite difficult to do a lot of the medical aesthetic treatments as an esthetician, so we can't do microneedling. But I know microneedling is very, very popular overseas, but I haven't done it myself. So I have to say, I can't really say if that's if it's really a great treatment. But from what I've heard, that it has got a lot of potential. together with great products, of course. But yeah, still, there's a lot of other, treatments out there. Yeah. Mm. So it's difficult to say one, really. Yeah. Sorry.
No problem at all. So what would you like to advise everyone?
I think, in our industry, whether you're in an institute or salon or spa, I mean, we all owe it to our industry to be ethical, to be knowledgeable and be professional. Because if we all really work, then we can improve the image of the industry throughout the world. So it's important everybody really is careful and does the correct hygiene and everything together to, to elevate the image of our industry, so that we can get better wages and, are thought of better. And so then young girls and guys want to come into the industry because, sometimes the family doesn't want their child to come into the industry because they think it's a kind of nothing industry, as you said earlier. That's for people who are not so intelligent. But I mean, we can have a wonderful career doing this, and it is a great job to do because your clients, they're always, oh, that feels fantastic. Oh, I feel great. That's a really nice feeling. Rather than there's so many jobs you don't get anything, any kind of comeback and pleasure. Whereas really, generally speaking, the clients are very happy to see you. They feel even better when they leave you, So that's a great job, isn't it? So I think if we all work together, that we can really, really improve our industry, and I think it's going to grow. And it really seems that the idea of good training is permeating. Obviously, as we said, in India, you've got institutes coming up all over. China's the same thing. We've got many new, Asia, Vietnam is starting. I'm sure there'll be Cambodia and other countries as well will start now to really get the training there. So everyone's got at least a basic foundation of knowledge. And I think that can be only a good thing for our industry. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And if you concentrate on one thing, which is more or less also your purpose, then nothing is impossible. And I think I'm grateful for your words and for the wisdom it has enlightened us with. So I must admire your determined attitude, Pam, which has led to your journey till now. And thank you so much for your advice and insights about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time as well. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. So at the end of the interview, we always have a quick rapid fire questions, Pam. So can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the first thing you think of in the morning every day?
I don't know. I don't know.
I used to say every day when you get up, what is that first thing generally comes into your mind every day?
Usually I wake up and go, is it Monday? Yeah, what day is it? Because, I'm so confused with, I'm back at work, so it's easier. But when I was working at home, you get a bit confused with the days, so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know. I can't think.
Okay. How do you define happiness?
Happiness. I think happiness is being comfortable in yourself. Being comfortable in yourself and accepting of yourself and accepting, your good and your bad points and everything. And just accepting that you're not going to be, a model, or you're not going to be, something fantastic maybe, but you're just happy with that, and you be the best you can be. That's what I always say to my students. Be the best you can be. We can't all be the top of everything, but we can be good at something. We can be excellent at something, So just keep trying to be good at least at one thing,
That's wonderful. Very inspiring. So what makes you smile?
What makes me smile? English comedy, British comedy. Yeah, I like sarcastic humour that, you know, we get in on that sort of that British humour, you know, sarcastic humour. Yeah, I like that. I miss that a little bit. Yeah.
Excellent. And last but not the least, what is your favorite cuisine?
My favourite cuisine is French food.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So yeah, I do like Japanese food, but I'm not a huge fan of sushi. But I do like Japanese food, of course. But you know, when you're living somewhere, sometimes you know you want something different, you know. So then I would like French food. Yeah.
Lovely. So this is really incredible, Pam, and indeed you are an inspiration to all of us, and your journey has been path-breaking and a real wonder. And our conversation made me even more excited and has encouraged me. So what inspired me the most was how sharply you are focused in your work and persistently of your work, I mean hard work, and along so many years. And without continual growth and progress, I think such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning, and that you already have proven with your dedication and achievement. So I really thank you for your valuable time, and I'm really looking forward to meet you in person, Pam.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. And well, I just answered to the best of my abilities, but it's been wonderful to chat to you. And I do hope that we can meet next year. Let's hope.
Yes.
Yes.
Our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. You all are awesome. Stay tuned with us for the next interview coming soon, and take care of yourself. If you have any questions, you can always send us on the details given below. Please like, comment, and share this video. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pam. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.